Hello, this is Mr. Cooper, and welcome to Bournemouth School's GCSE Revision Videocast.
Hello and welcome to this videocast. Before moving on to the particular topic in question, it's worth reminding ourselves of some exam tips. First of all, avoid using phrases like all Christians think and overgeneralizing. Rather than backing yourself into that corner, use phrases like some Christians may. Also, when using specific religious quotes and teachings, it's worth applying them directly to the topic in question. If you are merely listing religious quotes and teachings, you won't be looking at the higher grades. Rather, explain how they relate. To ensure you are linking them directly to the statement in question, use phrases like "this means that." Finally, a word of caution on the use of quotation marks. If you know the direct word-for-word quote, by all means use quotation marks. However, if you're paraphrasing, don't put the teaching in quotation marks, but it will still be relevant and get you credit. For example, saying something like, "Jesus suggested that you should love your neighbour," wouldn't be a direct quote, so don't use quotation marks. So, what will this video do? First of all, it will give you key topic headings on the particular unit we'll be looking at. Second of all, it will list a selection of relevant religious quotes and teachings. Finally, it will give you some sample exam questions, both AO1 and AO2, to practice. You must use this to help you learn, apply, and practice. This topic revolves around religious attitudes to medical ethics. Topic headings and areas that you will need to know about in detail would include sanctity of life, or the idea that life is sacred and should be cherished. Medical research, including research on embryos, the Human Embryology and Fertilization Act. Human genetic engineering, which includes the idea of designer babies, saviour siblings, and also the subsection cloning, which raises moral issues of personal identity and also eugenics. Stem cell therapy and stem cell research, which is currently very, very topical and in the news, so being able to bring that topicality into your answers will be a particular area of possible benefit. Transplantation and xenotransplantation, which is the use of organs from animals that are transplanted into humans, is another area that is a key topic heading. And blood transfusions and organ donations, including the use of donor cards. Finally, a major area that you need to know about in detail is fertility treatments, including IVF or in vitro fertilization, AID or artificial insemination by donor, AIH or artificial insemination by husband, and surrogacy. Some key Buddhist teachings then. As with any topic surrounding human life, the blind turtle story, which talks about life as a human being extremely rare, is always applicable. A central idea in Buddhism is the idea of reducing suffering. So, talking about this in any area of medical ethics that aims to reduce suffering is applicable and relevant. Buddhists believe in loving compassion and kindness, and this idea can be seen in the central writings and teachings of the Dalai Lama in particular. Again, any areas of medical ethics that involve loving compassion, which may include fertility treatments or organ transplantation, could well use this idea. The 5 precepts or guides for living in society include "I will avoid taking life." Now, as most Buddhists will believe life begins at conception, the idea of "I will avoid taking life" may be applied to areas of embryo research and unused embryos as part of the IVF fertility treatment process. Again, right intention, which is a step of the Noble Eightfold Path, which talks about acting out of compassion and selflessness, can be applied to various different topic areas in medical ethics, as can Buddhist belief in sanctity of life, which ties to the blind turtle story. Christian teachings are many when it comes to medical ethics, and a selection of those are presented here. Firstly, the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. Sanctity of life, or the idea that life is sacred and belongs to God. And love your neighbour as yourself. All of these three can be applied to various subheadings and topics within medical ethics. Thou shalt not murder is possibly applicable, particularly when it comes to the belief that life begins at conception, which is something that Roman Catholics generally hold. In Genesis, it teaches, go forth and multiply. This can be applied to the area of fertility treatments in a supportive capacity. However, in contrast, Roman Catholics generally teach that infertility is a call or a sign from God to adopt. Roman Catholics also would adhere to the teaching of St. Thomas Aquinas in the fact that embryo research is against natural law. The last Pope, Pope Benedict, became an organ donor, so this could be applied to the area of organ donation and transplantation as well. However, the Christian group Jehovah's Witnesses believe that life is in the blood, and so will not engage in blood transfusions or organ transplantation, unless it's a bloodless transplant, which is something that Jehovah's Witnesses have pioneered in the last few years. There are possible other religious teachings that you could use as well, and again, feel free to use any other religious teachings that either come from your religion or that you're aware of. Islam talks about the Sharia law area, which prohibits the mutilation of the body. This also comes from the idea that Muslims believe in physical resurrection and believe that your body is on loan from Allah. This applies to blood transfusions and organ donation as well. Sikhs believe that your body is just a waste after death, just waste completely, and so can be used in service to others. This idea of service to others is called sewa. Finally, some sample exam questions then. On the AO1 side, you may get a 2-marker that says define IVF, or explain religious attitudes towards embryo research. On the evaluation, or the AO2 side, questions may include, religious people should have children. What do you think? Explain your opinion. Or religious people should be organ donors. Do you agree? Give reasons for your answer, showing you've thought about more than one point of view. Refer to religious beliefs and teachings in your answer. Finally, and to reiterate, remember to learn, apply, and practice. Thanks for listening.